How many people watch Saturday Night Live? Oh, wow, a lot of people. Okay, do you know the Five Timers Club? Yes. Okay, when you host Saturday Night Live 5 times, you become a member of the Five Timers Club. Five timers are people like Tina Fey, Justin Timberlake, Steve Martin, Alex Baldwin. All these people are 5 timers. I have had the pleasure of hosting and speaking at Zinnov 4 times. 4. So I want to get invited back again because I want to be a 5-timer of a Zinnov conference. I think that would be something special. Now, I'm wearing a tie. If you've heard me before, you know why I'm wearing a tie. Who knows why I'm wearing a tie? Oh, you can't answer. You're in the back. So I'm in college. No. I'm in college, and I go to a concert in a basketball stadium, and it's Billy Joel. Billy Joel, very young, early 20s. He's wearing a tie. And he starts off the conference by saying, you might be wondering why I'm wearing a tie. You have each paid $5 to get in here and see me. For $5, you get a tie. So I'm sure you all paid $5, so you're getting a tie. That's it. That's why I'm wearing a tie. Today, I want to talk about a Technology Vision 2018. Every year, we have a brilliant CTO, Waleed Negm, gets really smart people together, and they spend months thinking about where technology is and where technology is going. And within the next 2 weeks, they're going to publish the 2018 Technology Vision. It's a perspective that our CTO and our innovation team use, and then we frame a lot of our work and our thinking after it. When I finish, you're going to hear some really exciting things from Pascal Breyer, who's on the executive committee and an EVP at Altran. And I'm sure that will fill in an awful lot of exciting things that Altran's doing, and we'll talk about Altran and Aricent. But just to put it in context, everybody knows what's up here on the chart. There's nothing new. It's a very boring chart. So there are big companies that are in the technology landscape. They're listed up here. Just yesterday in the newspaper, there was an article about BATS, which is Baidu, Alibaba, and Tencent, and how they're getting into the auto industry in a big way. These companies have enormous cash, innovation, talent, and they're doing a lot of things. At the same time, Silicon Valley, which we're sitting in now, has always been the hub of innovation, but innovation is diversifying. And there are some incredible things going on in Beijing, Mumbai, Berlin, London, Tel Aviv, and elsewhere. The third macro context here is this M&A. The bigger companies are armadas that are buying innovation. But last year, for the 3rd year in a row, there were over 50,000 M&A transactions. 50,000 were announced. One of which was the acquisition of Aricent by Altran. So we're one of those 50,000. Yay, I agree. There's a reason for that. We'll talk about that reason. But things are moving fast. This is just a context. Another point of context is a lot of people were schooled on a product lifecycle management, the way things go, the gray curves on the chart. It's too slow, it's too deliberate, it doesn't work. If you think about Amazon, in the digital product world, everything's a sprint. Everything's getting to market faster. It's got to get out there faster. We do software frameworks. We license these to help accelerate product development. We did one called Havoc, which is for network detection. It's a pretty cool software product. You use it for cloud or connected devices or microservices. It took us 18 months. 18 months. Today, that doesn't work. All of the frameworks we're doing now are 9 months. Idea, incubation, to having something in the market. It's a framework now. It's a framework. 9 months. That's the cycle of our innovation team today. It has to be. It has to be. So with those two charts as sort of a context, just providing some background, this is the 2018 technology vision. It's about building in leaps and bounds and prioritizing progress over process. Now, in the introduction, it was mentioned that I had been with IBM for 30 years. There was a little bit of process there. Now, all large companies, and I left IBM 6 years ago, but all large companies 6 years ago had process. It was like the religion of a big company. We have to have a process for that. We have to have a process for everything. Today, the prioritization's on progress. Again, go back to Amazon. Products in the market, sprints, fast. Where's the process? It's a different mindset. So today, you have to prioritize, if you're large or small, progress over process. Then, the four major trends we see. The first is you have to augment the problem solver. Augment the problem solver. This problem solver, a developer, a designer, needs to become superhuman. So how do you augment them to make them superhuman? They have to be an Iron Man, a Wonder Woman, a Black Panther, depending on which of those movies you like the most. So you have to augment them so they become superhuman. That's the first. The second trend is you have to push the limits of decentralization. Command and control systems are great. For a big army, Napoleon loved it, but it does not work today. Command and control is too slow. So you have to push decentralization. Third trend, build autonomous. Build autonomous. Artificial intelligence, it's there, it's pervasive, it's being used. Well, how do we scale it? How do we build everything with that in the mindset, and how do we do it with humanity? With humanity. And the last thing is a bias for action. You have to act. You can't wait. Everything is about acting and moving ahead. So these are the four trends that we see, and in product development, product design, these become very important, we believe. So the first one, augment the problem solver, superhumans. How do you make designers and developers superhumans? A few ideas. There's lots of ways to do it, but you have to think about it. First, a deeper understanding. NVIDIA takes 4 people, puts them into sort of a robotic suit, and they go into a 3D world and start looking at and working on a sports car. It's making them superhuman. Autodesk, they're doing some fascinating things, looking at the material, the aspects of materials. So you can go into Airbus, which they've done, and you can look at the materials and predict those in advance. They've been able to take the actual weight of Airbus components down by 45% doing that. So you're looking for ways to do things that make people superhuman. Intel is doing lots of things in business models and new approaches and the semiconductor industry to drive really incredible new ways of doing things. And we haven't even got yet to the new and exotic computing options. There's 2 listed here, IBM's Neuromorphic computing and Fujitsu's digital quantum computing. We hear a lot about quantum computing. So I asked them to put on the chart the definition of Neuromorphic. If you know what that is, you have my great respect. Neuromorphic is the use of large-scale integration to mimic neurobiological architectures present in the nervous system. I don't know. Everybody know that? You guys already knew that. I just find that a fascinating word, neuromorphic. But think about quantum computing and neuromorphic capabilities now of augmenting, again, the problem solver and making them superhuman. That's the first trend. Second trend, push the limits of decentralization. Now, the first example up here is Porsche. Porsche has created through blockchain, and it's the first automaker we know of that did this, through blockchain, a way to open doors. Car doors. And you can give a code out to somebody else to also open the doors. So you don't have to go through a cloud network, a third party. You're decentralizing the work there. You're taking it away from some central monolithic power. Now, you're also doing things, this is a Microsoft headset here, HoloLens. But you're also doing things here where you're trying to decentralize networks, pushing things to the edge. 5G will help that, but it's moving things out and away from the center, decentralizing. Now, the other thing I should mention is Porsche did their work on a Panamera. That is not a Panamera. That car right there is a 911 GT2 RS. And you're going to say, well, if you're talking about a Panamera, why is there a 911 GT2 RS up there? Because it is the most fabulous car in the world. That's why. And there's another message behind it. The 911 is over 50 years old. That's a 50-year-old sports car. They've sold over 1 million of those things. And yet, at the Nürburgring track, that car holds a world record right there. It's a 911. Does 0 to 60 in 2.7, 700 horsepower, 211 miles an hour, top speed. That's a car. That's a real car. So if a company like Porsche can take a 50-year-old product and innovate so that one of their latest models has the world record, I think that's pretty cool. That wasn't the purpose of the chart, but I just love Porsches, so I thought I'd talk about it. The third trend, building autonomous. Okay, autonomous is there, artificial intelligence is there. It's about scaling it. Everybody knows you use artificial intelligence for customer service. You can do some forecasting on your manufacturing processes, and you can do other things today on development, coding, and so forth. But how do you really scale it and think about it as pervasive in everything you do? One way, you industrialize artificial intelligence. Now at Cisco, we've worked with them. They have intent-based networking, and they're trying to make a self-learning network. And we're helping them and working with them. That's making it industrialized. It's part of the product and the network. It's everything they sell. On the other side, how do we avoid this pitfall of algorithmic thinking? Algorithmic thinking says it's a computer, it's an algorithm. Now, an algorithm is a business model that is a competitive edge. People can command marketplace with algorithms. They're very powerful. They're competitive weapons. Okay? A competitive weapon, having an algorithm that's so good that you can command a market. Okay, now, how do we avoid thinking that these are algorithms and we say, no, they're part of humanity? They're part of humanity. They're to make things better. 8 billion people on the planet Earth. How do you take 8 billion people and add artificial intelligence capabilities to make everything better? Charlie, AI, we worked with them. It was to make a simple app that saves people money in the financial world. It saves them money. It gives them something to do that helps them, that helps people. Think about the humanity aspects. To do that, you have to have an experience, a great customer experience, a great user experience in what you're doing with artificial intelligence. But think about the humanity. People are fearful of artificial intelligence for good reasons. But if people both scale, industrialize, but don't fall into a trap, make sure it's human. It's for the best of humanity. So that's the third trend. The fourth trend is a bias for action. Action, act. Everybody has an issue with this. There are very few leaders and companies and people that can act at the speed and pace that really is required today. Somebody's going to say, oh, we have a process for that. Oh, we have to take that someplace. I don't know if you've ever heard that in your companies. And all of a sudden, things slow down. Well, today you can't do that. You have to do just enough design for impact. And on the right, you have to grant and defend autonomy. A group, go do something. We're going to give you the power and the autonomy to do something. We used to call these things emerging business units, or we had, Cisco used to do these things under Pankaj Patel. There's lots of companies, but how do you give people autonomy and then defend it? Secondly, drive continuous engagement. And continuous engagement is about the fact that when you're acting, you want to interface and collaborate with others. You always want to be engaged, internally and externally. You need all the input from that. And the third thing here, and I think the most important, is design the impact, not the product. I love that phrase, design the impact, not the product. Design the impact, not the product. You're trying to get someplace, a business outcome with speed. You're designing for that. You're not designing for the product. At Frog, they worked with a company called Liquid LCD. It was bought by Verizon. And they helped them with something called venture design. These three characteristics fit within venture design. Think about how you can help a company like Liquid so that they had a kiosk that they could get out into the market, there's a picture of it there, and get it out there fast and have an impact with it. It's a venture design concept or model. So those are the four macro trends we see in our vision for 2018, our technology vision. Augment the problem solver, make them superhuman, push the decentralization, build autonomous, industrialize it, make it human, and act, a bias for action. Now, in today's world, you have to innovate. The old saying, innovate or die, is never more true than today. Innovate or die. If you're in the design and development and engineering business, you really do need to focus on a whole set of things. Artificial intelligence, that's one. Blockchain, we're doing some really fascinating things on the development process with blockchain, that's two. Communications, intelligent edge, and 5G, that's three. Cybersecurity, that's four. Design, digital design, and digital design services, the interface, the humanity, digital design services, it's all about the design. Six, Internet of Things. 7 is robotics, and 8 is virtual reality or augmented reality. Those 8 things. There are others. So to innovate and really be creating new things and new ideas and new skills and being of value, you do need size and scale. You do need size and scale. And we are very fortunate that as of today, we closed where Aricent was acquired by Altran. Now, yeah, we're $3.5 billion and 45,000 people and 30 countries, and we're now big. But to me, it's all about having the size and scale to do relevance for clients and to be able, in the 8 areas I mentioned, to innovate, learn, share, and really have an impact. And we are blessed. You're going to hear from Pascal, but we were acquired by Altran. Altran's a French company. Dominic Cerruti is the CEO and chairman. He's one of the most visionary and phenomenal leaders that you've ever met, that I've ever met. And I've known him for 20 years. So we're very excited about that. We have made that announcement. It is in the press today. And so we're now part of Altran. And You'll hear from Pascal. Daniel Dargham's here. He's the CEO of Lahika, which is a company that's part of the Altran group. He's here. Some of the executives, I don't know why they're here listening to me, because they hear from me all the time. But some of our executives are here. Layla Worrell's our Chief Operating Officer. Harry West is the CEO of Frog. Laura Langdon is our Chief Marketing Officer. Harmeet Chauhan is our President of our service lines. And Mohan Rangan, who's been with Aricent 24 years, is our Chief Engineering Officer. And we have others from Aricent here as well. I just would mention those few executives. So with that, I'm going to pass this back, and I thank you for listening, and I hope it was of some interest. Thank you.